Everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to put together these chocolate covered Rice Krispie treat turkey pops. Here are the things that I used: some Rice Krispie treats, red and orange food coloring for my royal icing, or you can use fondant, some paper straws, or you can use lollipop sticks, some candied eyes, or you can use fondant as well, and some chocolate candy melts. Alright guys, let's get started. Alright guys, so the first thing that I want to do is go ahead and warm up my candy melts to where it's nice and flowy. And then I'm going to trim down my straws because they're a bit too long. So I'm going to take about an inch or so off of it. And I'm going to use the part that I cut off to insert into the Rice Krispie. That way I can have the nice trimmed part at the bottom. I'm going to cut my Rice Krispie. This is just like the ones that they sell for like 2 for $1 or something like that. What I like about these is that they're the perfect size that I want in height, and I can get about 3 of these treats out of one bar. Alright guys, so I have here the straw that I'm going to be using. I chose this brown one, but you can choose any other color, and of course you can use the lollipop stick. So very easily you're going to stick the tip that you cut off, and you're going to stick it inside because you want the nicer cut on the outside where it's visible. And you're going to grab your little square and stick it in. Now you have to push it kind of hard, but be careful not to break your straw. Even though it's a bit sturdy, this is very, it's not really hard, but it's kind of hard. It's not very soft. So go ahead and stick it in, not all the way through. You do not want to poke a hole there, but I would say about 1/3 of a way. And sometimes you can see through it to see how far you've gone. So I'm gonna stop there, and then I'm going to try to reshape my rectangle because I might have squished it a little. So what I'm gonna do right now is let this dry a little bit before I go ahead and dunk it. Alright, so I let it dry a little bit, and now I can go ahead and dip it into the chocolate here. And of course this is my first dip, which is not going to be enough to smooth it out, and you will see here in just a second. As you see, I don't have any wax paper, and that's because I'm not going to be laying it down. If I lay it down to dry, this chocolate is going to come down and then spread on the back, and then when you pick it up you're going to have this extra chocolate around it like a halo, and you don't want that. That's why I'm going to be standing it up. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and stand these here and let them dry. Okay, so now this one has had time to dry, so I'm going to go ahead and dip it for the second time. Give it that second coating, and again release a lot of that chocolate. The main reason why I like to release a lot of it is because I don't want for it to run down my straw once I set it back into the foam holder. Okay, so it's getting there, but I think it still needs one more, so I'm going to set this aside again and then give it a third coat. Okay, so you see there it's nice and covered now. Gives me a nicer, smoother surface. So now I'm going to quickly put on little eyes. Just plop them in there. And then I'm going to put this aside to let it dry. Alright guys, now to do the eyes out of fondant, it is just a few steps, but you will need your white fondant and some black fondant and a number 12 Wilton piping tip, and that will give you the circle for the white and the circle for the black. Now this is going to be way too big, so what you're going to do is cut out your fondant that you rolled out, and what I'm going to do is with the same cutter I'm going to trim off some of it off, and then I'll have a smaller circle, and then of course you can just kind of mold it, and I'm going to see if that's good, and that's fine. So I'm just going to add with a toothpick, like literally a dot of chocolate, and that is more than enough, because if you put too much and you press on your eye, your fondant, it's going to squish out, and then you're going to have a big mess. So just like that. And now with my tip 12, I'm going to go ahead and make my cutout. And again, with my toothpick, a tiny dot, gotta find the back, tiny dot. And then you can stick it however you like. I like to give mine kind of like little googly eyes. Makes them look not just funny, but cute for like the little ones. And so that's what it's gonna look like. Yeah, it's a few extra steps, but you have a little bit more control for the eyes if you want to make them look a little funny. And you know, these are just easier to purchase and add them on. You don't have to do any extra work or anything like that. But I kind of like these. Not everybody likes the taste of fondant, but it's just a tiny bit. Alright guys, so now it's time to do the beak. I have here some orange icing, and if you're going to do the ones with the fondant, I'm going to do that in a little bit, and we're going to do that with the orange and the red fondant. So I have here orange and red, and I'm going to do a triangle shape like you see here with the orange first. I'm going to let it crust for a little bit, and then I'm going to do the wattle, I think it's called, that goes here on the side of the beak. And since this is in like a medium consistency, it's not going to take too long for it to crust because it's not too liquidy. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now with a little, like a little triangle, just kind of back and forth. So I'm going to start bigger at the top and then kind of taper down as I make my triangle, like that. I'll bring down this peak, and I'm going to just put a little bit of red on the side here, and that'll be all. I'm going to go ahead and pipe the little wattle there into the red. Both of them that I used were tip 2s, so I'm going to start in the middle part here at the top, and I'm going to squeeze to the right and bring it down as I squeeze a little harder to make that bottom part a little thicker, kind of like a teardrop shape. And then I'm going to go with my tool and just sew this in, and that's it for that. As you see here, I did this little bow here with this like hay, I don't know what it's called, like a hay type ribbon thing, but you can use any other type of ribbon. And what I'm going to do is I did some with a little bow with the same material, but I found it was a little hard to make, so I think I'm just going to make some just tied like this, and it looks pretty nice as well, except for I'm going to have to cut this loop here and then trim them down because it's way too big. And you can open these up, kind of fan them and tear them up like this to make it more fuller. This one's a little bit too long. And I think this gives it a really nice fall look, if I can get my hands in there. So that is it. So I'm going to wait till these dry up a little bit so I can put them in the little baggies. If you want to put them in little individual baggies, I do maybe recommend not putting the little bows in there, and put the little bag, put a little twisty tie, and then wrap this on the outside, and I will show you that. That way this doesn't get smushed up and you won't be able to see it. So I think on the outside will look a lot better, and I will give you a sample. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the ones with the fondant. Okay, so here's the orange and red fondant. I didn't have any orange fondant on hand, so I mixed in some red and some yellow. So I'm going to get, I just rolled it out, and I'm going to get a little knife and just pretty much cut out a triangle shape. And I'm going to measure it. It's pretty good. And I'm going to use my chocolate to stick it on there again. Just one little dot. Spread it out so it can grab more space there. And I'm just going to put it right there. dry and it'll get stuck on there. Now I'm going to get the little red ball of fondant and kind of shape it like this. I don't know if that's going to be too much. Yeah, it's a little too long. It's like a pea size, maybe, yeah. And then I'm going to roll it like a little sausage and then squeeze one end as I pull it out to make it longer, and this one here at the one end to make it like taper it down to make it thinner. Keep the other one thick, and let's see here. Oh, that's good. That's good there. So again, take it out. I don't want to distort the shape. Grab a little bit of chocolate. 1, 2, and 3 right there. I know this is a little bit more time consuming, so I highly suggest to do this with your royal icing, or you can buy some of that cookie icing or buttercream that comes in already made packages. The only thing is that you got to be careful with those when you put them in your little baggies, because they do not dry like royal icing. Alright guys, I'm gonna try to get this a little bit fatter at the bottom. Alright, so that's what that looks like with the fondant. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a little bow tie. I'm gonna bag a few of them, and that is all. I will show you how they all turned out. Alright guys, so here's the finished product. Here is the bow that I made. Not the easiest thing to do with this material, so you can just go ahead and tie it like I have it here without the bow. Kind of looks like a little scarf. If you want to package them individually, you can get some 6x4s, and they're a little long, so you might have to trim about 1/2 inch from the bottom of the bag before you bag them, and then go ahead and tie them on the outside like this. They turn out really, really neat. Great to give out to the little ones. So I hope you like this idea, guys. I thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so, and like up the video if you enjoyed it. Alright guys, I will talk to you soon. Have a good one, guys.